All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. Got some breaking news this morning. Christian, the Mike McCarthy era is over in Dallas. I mean, obviously, this one's all you, so I'll just let you give me your thoughts.
Yeah, so like I said, this is pretty much expected. Like I said, after the Commanders game, him, hugging at his coaches, which he's never done after games like that there too. So it was kind of expected there too. We got some speculation since Jerry did decline his interview for the Bears there too. Maybe he's gonna be able to retain him, but I knew, at least to myself, at the end of the day, I knew McCarthy was gonna be gone just for all the signs that were showing there too. And you can really you can really just cherry pick what you think about McCarthy. I know I have mixed feelings with McCarthy. I know this whole season I've been bashing McCarthy this whole time there, but the relationship he's built with Dak Prescott over these past couple of years since he's been this year, it's been one of the better relationships Dak's had with the head coach. I know with Jason Garrett, it was good as well, but it wasn't really a good point to an extent where, the relationship between him and the coach, it was good. Obviously the playoff success, it wasn't there. Also, the players going to go to Dak and McCarthy there. Just, the culture he built in the locker room, it's going to be hard for the next coach to come in and kind of build that all around there too. But you can pick a point, whether it's the defense, the offense, McCarthy, this and that there. We know what it is. It is Jerry, him at GM. He's not doing a good job at general manager. Everyone in the league knows this. Pretty much anyone with general IQ knows. It's not the coach that's going to be the problem. It's not the players that's going to be the problem. It's going to be the culture around the whole Cowboys organization, what Jerry's going to want to do for this Cowboys team. Like we've been saying, Jerry wants a guy who he wants to control, right? That's why Bill Belichick wasn't a viable candidate, not that long ago for him to be a potential candidate for the Cowboys. He wants to control the team on his own, just like what Jimmy Johnson did in the 90s. He wanted to control the team on his own. But like I said, Jerry, he wants to be the spotlight of everything, and that's the reason why the Cowboys have had no success at all for the past 30 years and left me, at a depressive state for most of my whole life there too. But obviously, this whole the head coaching candidate for the offseason, it's really saturated with a lot of big names there too. I know a lot of Cowboys fans, I know Ben Johnson is one of the names out there too, but he's going to be very expensive.
He's not going because the thing we talk about was Ben Johnson, and that's why. I mean, it's a big reason why the Raiders fired Tom Telesco as their GM. There's the speculation is that Ben Johnson wants to have he wants to have a GM that he can work with, and he wants to handpick one, and that's why. I mean, as much as the Bears job looks like somewhere that he's really good, or even the Jaguars sound like that job. That's why maybe if they do end up getting rid of Trent Baalke in Jacksonville, maybe that. But I mean, it looks like they're going to retain him. We see all of those speculations. You really think he's going to want to work with Jerry? That's the only other thing.
And I even think too. I think the favorite right now is Deion Sanders. I don't know.
That seems idiotic to me.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just for views, just for clicks there too. I mean, if Deion ends up being the coach there, I don't know him. Look, I know him and Jerry, they have a good relationship. So maybe, in the world for us Cowboys fans, maybe that relationship between them could work out. The whole team in general could, actually do great for once, because of the relationship. But I don't think that's gonna happen with Deion. I think he's probably gonna stay out of Colorado, or depends. Maybe he'll get a job somewhere else in the NFL as another head coach there too. But like I said, with Ben Johnson, not gonna work out there too. Plus, he's too expensive, and depending how well the Lions do
Which
in the
we
playoffs,
were talking about this. I mean, we were kind of saying, get a defensive-minded coach is probably the smartest thing for you guys. And I mean, look, Aaron Glenn, that's a great option.
I mentioned Brian Flores.
Those are the two that I wanted to.
Brian Flores, he's one of my favorite guys. So he's young, right? What the Cowboys need, they need a young coach. They just need a young coach. We've had a bunch of old heads the past couple of years. But a young coach is what this Cowboys team needs. But again, it's not going to rely on Jerry Jones on, like I said, everything he's been doing with this whole Cowboys team. But like you said, Terry Glenn and Brian Flores, those are obviously two top candidates that, I would really love to see as a head coach position there too. I know another thing too, even Al Harris, our DB's coach, I said that, last year, I would maybe want him at DC or the head coach, but he doesn't have experience like that, right, too. So where he's at there with the DBs, that's probably where I would want to keep him there. But like you said, with defensive mind, that's probably what I would want there. But when we're looking at the offense, when we have Schottenheimer as our next offensive color, that's where I kind of want to, cut the strings there too. But obviously, like I mentioned, the head coaching candidate position this offseason, it's going to be really saturated there. A lot of big names to do, but I think Brian Flores is probably the one guy
that's the two things you would think. I mean, I would think it's smart to switch things up and go defensive with your next head coach. But at the same time, you do have Mike Zimmer, who's doing pretty good, so that can at least hold down the defensive side. Now, something else we were talking about. Do you really want Schottenheimer to be your main play call?
The defensive corner with Zimmer, I'm 100% great with him. I know he had a great bounce back. I know we're looking.
Yeah.
Zimmer got a lot of the blame, right? But when I'm really looking at the game, it's most of these players that are really screwing up for the most part. None of this is on Zimmer. I know there's some Zimmer stuff, some play calls that were a little questionable, but most of these were player problems, player mistakes that are not on Zimmer. And obviously, as the coordinator, he's gonna get the blame there too. But I have 100% faith in Zimmer, especially with healthy starters coming back. And then obviously, I know he's gonna cook up something for that defense there too. Get another defensive-minded coach. That defense will probably be the best there too. But at the offensive side, that's going to be another thing to really bolster there too. But with McCarthy, the offensive mind, that's kind of where it was. But the way he was playing play calls, the receivers not getting separation, the clock management, which was the bigger issue that that was one of the main things why his coaching was kind of getting iffy this past couple of years. Is this clock management, the play calling, just all this in there too. But like I said, it's going to be the man upstairs. It's going to be Jerry Jones, and we're just going to
and see. I mean, there's so many smart ones that you could go with. Like, I mean, I don't know if these are names that you've thought of, but like Liam Cohen, a guy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator, really has brought, who brought in a lot of. I think that's someone that would be really smart to look into. But we know Jerry, and we know what he wants. He wants someone that he can keep his finger on.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, we'll see. It's probably gonna be just another Band-Aid hire. I mean, I'm not really expecting the best for what Jerry's going to end up doing here, but he could surprise us and maybe get some home run hired. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, like I said, Brian Flores, that's probably my main guy right there. Ben Johnson, it can go out the way. We for the many reasons that we discussed, for the many reasons he's not.
And of course, one more thing to talk about. Even if you wanted to go for one of those home run hires, the fact that you waited until this point after the bye weeks. Now you can't talk to these guys until the Lions season ends, so that's just shooting yourself in the foot even more if you even want to try for that. So I mean, those jobs are very likely already going to be past the opportunity for the Cowboys to even make those. It just gets more and more, the ineptitude of Jerry at that role.
Yeah, but I think we pretty much got that wrapped up. Like we said, It's going to be Jerry and who he wants to hire. But with my takes, Brian Flores is probably my top guy. We need a young guy at the head coaching position.
And I would probably agree with you there, either one of those defensive minds. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Obviously, we haven't gotten too much into some of the coach firings, as we'll probably talk about all that more into a specific video when all the coaches get hired. But yeah, that does it for this. Obviously, got a Monday Night Football game tonight that once that wraps up, we'll record that one out and get that hopefully tomorrow morning to have that out for you. Let's hope my Rams, when we looked at back in retrospect, it's a good one to look into. But it's going to do it for us here. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys back for the wild card recap.